Hello students, I am Assistant Professor Karan Kumar Das, come back again, and before starting today's lesson, like the previous videos, I again alert you everybody, because you know everyone, today, day to day, the affected of the COVID-19 is increasing in our country. So I request everyone, be cautious, be safe on not only your health but also health of your family. And hope you know everyone, till now no recommended vaccines is not invented for this disease. So the only way to maintain the social distancing and cautiousness of our health. So I request everyone, be sincere on your health and must follow the instructions of our health staffs time to time, like wash your hands with soap solution or alcohol based hand sanitizer, and must be, if you detect any minor symptoms of the cold fever, please consult with your doctor. Thank you. So today's our lesson is the lactic acid. Hope you have remembered everyone, lactic acid is found in the curd. We have studied it on the 7 or 8 in the chapter of the acid base. Okay. So lactic acid is basically found in the curd. The another name of the lactic acid is the alpha hydroxypropionic acid, and the IUPAC name of the lactic acid is the 2-hydroxypropionic acid. Basically, lactic acid can be prepared in the industry by the fermentation, and here I am describing the another method of the preparation of the lactic acid, that is the preparation of the lactic acid from the acetaldehyde. Actually, it is the two-step reaction. In the first step, lactic acid converted to the cyanohydride by the hydrocyanic acid, which reacts with the hydrocyanic acid, acetaldehyde converts to the cyanohydride, and in the next step, cyanohydride converts by the hydrolysis method to the lactic acid. Okay. See it. Here I am giving the reaction of that. Okay. This is, I am giving the reaction. Here at the first step, the acetaldehyde reacts with the hydrocyanic acid and converted to the cyanohydride, and in the next step, by the hydrolysis, it is converted to the lactic acid. And in the next step, from the molasses, the molasses or whey converted to the lactic acid by the help of one microorganism, that is known as the Bacillus acidilacti, and in short it is known as the BAL or BAL. Okay, the full form of the BAL is what? The full form of the BAL is the Bacillus acidilacti. Okay, Bacillus acidilacti. In short, it is known as the BAL. By this microorganism, molasses or whey, by the fermentation method, it is converted to the lactic acid. I am describing the method very shortly. Actually, the dilute solution of the molasses or whey, the fermentation is done more or less 35 to 40 degrees Celsius by the BAL. BAL is basically present in the shower mill, and the fermentation is done in presence of the calcium carbonate. In the first step reaction, when the lactic acid is produced, it is again reacts with the calcium carbonate and formed the calcium lactate. In the next step, the calcium lactate is filtered and reacts with the concentrated sulfuric acid, and ultimately the produces the insoluble calcium sulfate. This calcium sulfate, from this calcium sulfate we obtain the final product, that is the D-lactic acid. Okay. See, here I am describing the method very shortly and as well as the reaction. Thank you. Next, we will study the properties of the lactic acid. Hope you know everyone, there are two kinds of property of any substance. One is the physical property and second one is the chemical property. So what is the physical property of the lactic acid? Lactic acid basically colorless, one crystalline solid and containing sour taste. Obviously it contains the sour taste because already you know it is one acid. And its melting point is more or less 53 to 54 degrees Celsius, and it is soluble in water as well as ether, alcohol or any other organic solvent. Next one, the chemical property of the lactic acid. Basically lactic acid contains two groups. From the structure of the lactic acid you can understand it. It contains the two groups basically. It is the structure of the lactic acid, and from this you can understand it contains one secondary alcohol group CHOH group and one carboxyl group, that is the COOH group. Okay. So here actually the chemical reactions, now we were going to start the chemical reactions of the lactic acid. So in this chemical reaction basically the reaction occurs either on the carboxyl group or the secondary alcohol group or the both group. There are the three kinds of reactions occurs in case of the lactic acid. One kind of reaction occurs only with the carboxyl group. Second kind of reactions occurs only with the alcohol group, and third kind of the reaction occurs with the both group. That means the carboxyl group as well as the alcohol group. So at first I am describing the reaction occurs with the carboxyl group, that means the COOH group. Here only one reaction to forming the salt which reacts with any alkali. When carboxyl acid reacts with any alkali, it is converted to the salt, and this reaction basically occurs on the COOH group. Here I am giving the example, the lactic acid. When the lactic acid reacts with the sodium hydroxide, when the lactic acid reacts with the sodium hydroxide, it is converted to the sodium lactate. Okay, it is converted to the sodium lactate. You don't be anxious, in the last of the video I am giving you the chance to take the screenshot of this note. No anxiety, just now listen my lecture. Okay, so it is the only reaction which is involved only with the COOH group. Next reaction, the reactions which involves with the alcohol group. Reactions which involves the OH group, that means the alcohol group. So first reactions, the reaction with the acetyl chloride. When the lactic acid reacts with the acetyl chloride, it is converted to the acetyl lactic acid. And remember one thing, this reaction occurs in the presence of the pyridine base. The reaction of the acetyl chloride with lactic acid is occurred in presence of the pyridine base, and the end product is the acetyl lactic acid. This is the reaction where this reaction is occurring. Lactic acid reacts with the acetyl chloride in presence of the pyridine base, and ultimately the end product is the acetyl lactic acid. Okay, thank you. The second reaction is the reduction reaction. Here, if the lactic acid is heated with the hydroiodic acid, it is converted to the propionic acid. It is one reduction reaction. The lactic acid, when the lactic acid is heated with the hydroiodic acid, it is converted to the propionic acid. Okay. Now the last reaction after the reduction, it is the oxidation. Here another one important solution or reagent is involved. Remember the name of the reagent, that is the Fenton's reagent. Okay. When lactic acid reacts with the Fenton's reagent, it is oxidized to the pyruvic acid. What is the Fenton's reagent? In your examination, the question will come, what is Fenton's reagent? Fenton reagent is nothing but the hydrogen peroxide in presence of the ferric ion. The solution of the hydrogen peroxide with ferric ion. It is the Fenton's reagent. When Fenton's reagent reacts with the lactic acid, it is get oxidized to forming the end product is the pyruvic acid. It is the reaction. It is the reaction here where the lactic acid reacts with the Fenton's reagent and oxidized to the pyruvic acid. Okay. Now, I am describing the reaction which involves both the carboxyl group as well as the alcohol group. Under that, there are the three reactions. First reaction is the very simple, reacts with the phosphorus pentachloride. When lactic acid reacts with the phosphorus pentachloride, it is converted to the lactyl chloride. This reaction involves both the group of the lactic acid, that means the carboxyl and alcohol group. Second reaction is the reaction with the sulfuric acid. When lactic acid reacts with the dilute sulfuric acid at 130 degrees Celsius temperature, it is converted with the two products. One is the acetaldehyde and second is the formic acid. But remember one thing, in case of the dilute sulfuric acid, the reaction stops here by converting the lactic acid to the formic acid and acetaldehyde. But if we use in place of the dilute sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, if we use in place of the dilute sulfuric acid, then the formic acid again broken to the carbon monoxide and water. But this reaction occurs if only we use the concentrated sulfuric acid. But if we use the dilute sulfuric acid, the reaction comes to the end on the conversion of the lactic acid to the acetaldehyde and formic acid. Okay. See here, in the first reaction, here I have given the reaction of the lactic acid with phosphorus pentachloride. Okay, and this reaction, the lactic acid with the dilute sulfuric acid at 130 degrees Celsius. Clear? And last reaction is the action of the heat. When the lactic acid is heated, it is converted one diester, and diester is known as the lactite. Okay. Remember, here two molecules of lactic acid is involved in the reaction. When the two molecules of lactic acid were heated, two molecules of the water has been eliminated from the lactic acid molecules, and ultimately it is converted to the lactite. It is one kind of diester. Okay, it is that reaction. Okay, it is that reaction where the lactic acid is, two molecules of the lactic acid is heated and it is converted to diester. And last, we will discuss the use of the lactic acid. There are the lots of uses of the lactic acid, like basically in the dairy products, the use of the lactic acid is the very much. It can be used as the mordant, and calcium and iron lactate, they can be used as the medicine in the pharma industry and the health science, and ethyl and butyl lactate is used as the plasticizer in the pharmaceutical production. Okay, that's it about the lactic acid. Before completion, I am requesting you, if you take the screenshot, want to take the screenshot, you can take the screenshot of this note. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you feel any doubt about this note, you can feel free to contact me in my WhatsApp number 9804915527 or my email ID karankumardas103@gmail.com. Okay, so I will meet you on my next video, and your syllabus is going to the end. Most probably or 2 or 3 videos remaining to completion the syllabus. Thank you. Be cautious, be safe and sincere on your studies. Thank you everybody.